to you about her, Monstera Dubia. Yes, I'm so excited. She is alive. Oh my god, you guys, you have no idea. Like, I got it back in February, and I had been so stressed because I didn't want it to die. I didn't want it to, like, anything bad to happen to it. And I didn't, I tried a couple of different things before I set on leaving it in water. And I don't know, I was just very anxious the last couple months because I wanted to make sure like this plant lived. And so, like I said, I got it back in February, and it had all the leaves up to this one right here. And it didn't do much up until the last couple of weeks. About 2 weeks ago, it didn't do much. It just stayed like this. So when I first got it, I tried to keep it in sphagnum moss, and that wasn't helping. And then I tried putting it in soil, and then it got worse. It started almost shriveling up. So then I took it out, and I forget the page, but I think it was Ken's Philodendron, this website called Ken's Philodendron, where I saw a little blurb where it said when you first got your Monstera Dubia, you don't need to put it in soil right away. Just put it in some water with a couple of orchid bark chips, so that it has some nutrients going to the roots. And so that's what I did, and I noticed within a day it started perking up, and the leaves looked shinier. And this was back like mid-February. So I just kept it in water, and I didn't touch it. I kept it in water, and then I actually went and bought this vase for it, and then now I just have it currently in a moss pole. It's just tied in the back with a little like twisty tie, and that's pretty much it. I kept it in water ever since, and it's been doing well. A couple weeks ago I started putting out new leaves, so yay. Yes, I'm super excited. I just wanted to make this video because I want to share everything that I've learned about this plant from having this plant in my possession, but also from all the research I've done. And it's really a really cool plant to have. So I'm just amazed that it can stay in water, you guys. Especially for being a hemiepiphyte. It's doing its thing. It's living its best life. And yeah, I am sad to say I had another one. So I had two Monstera Dubias, and one was in water, this one, and the other one was in soil. The soil one didn't do so well, so I have two theories. First of all, the root system on that was very tiny from when I received it, so I think it just had a less of a chance. Had I had put that one in the water, probably would have survived. But yeah, the one in the soil just didn't survive, you guys. It decided it wanted to leave me and go to plant heaven, so that's what it did. But anyways, yeah, so let's just get into all the different things that I think would be helpful for you with your Monstera Dubia. I did want to talk about the anatomy of the plant as best as I can, and also like the care needs of this plant. Also, while we're here, let's just talk about becoming part of the clay soil family. If you're not already part of it, please do subscribe to my channel. Also, you can click on the bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I upload new content. And if we're not friends already on Instagram, you can follow me at Clay Soil Purny. So yeah, let's just get right into this. This is gonna be a lot of fun, you guys. So let me give you a little background on the Monstera Dubia, and then we'll go into the care needs, and then I'll show you the plant anatomy. So a Monstera Dubia is an ever-changing climbing plant with beautiful silver variegated leaves. So the vine climbs up the tree. If you can imagine this moss pole as a tree, it climbs up the tree usually flat. My moss pole is not that thick, so it's kind of starting to curl, which is also something it can do around a tree or whatever host it's growing on. It can lay either flat or curl itself around the object, which gives it a shingling look. Hence, that's why it's called also a shingle plant. How it would climb up the tree is by the means of its aerial roots that are in the back of this plant, and it hooks its aerial roots around trees and branches to help it climb up while it's searching for light. It also roots itself in soil to help support the plant. So part of it's in soil, and most of it will be around the host that it's climbing. And for that reason, it's considered a hemiepiphyte. So this species of plant can be found in many parts of the world. It can be found in Costa Rica, it can be found in Bolivia, Venezuela, Trinidad, Western Brazil, or like me, I bought it from Thailand. So like I said, it can be found in many different parts of the world. So when I talk about the plant anatomy, I'll show you a up close detailed view of the leaves and the petiole. So before we get to that part, let's just talk about all the care needs of a dubia. So we'll talk about soil first. And as you can see, I have it in water. So I can say with a lot of confidence that it doesn't need to be in soil to thrive. It can fabulously live in water and be just as fine putting out leaves. I actually prefer to have mine in water, and I'm probably going to keep mine in water forever because it's just easier. I just change out the water every couple days. Actually, not even, because it drinks the water really fast. Like within a couple days, it'll go from a full vase to like only one quarter of the water is left. So yeah, so one way is to keep it in water in a vase, and I think it looks nice too. It looks simple, and I do want to mention it wasn't until about beginning of May that I started putting leca balls into it, just so that I could create that like dark environment, kind of like a it would be in the soil for it. So before May, it was just in water by itself. The roots were all exposed to sun and whatnot, but so for about a month and a half now, it's been in leca ball, and I did that slowly, so I didn't shock it into just going from a lot of light to no light. So it's been doing really well, and the root system is very healthy in there. It's really green, really clear. There's like main root systems with like little root systems that are growing from the main ones. So the other way you can keep your Monstera Dubia alive is in a soil potting mixture, which is very airy and very light. It does not do well in a soil mixture that will be very heavy or retains moisture for too long, just because of the type of plant it is. It is a hemiepiphyte, so it is, and what that means is that it has some of its roots in soil and some of it some of it wraps around the tree or whatever host it's living on. So it's kind of used to not getting a lot of water. So just make sure whatever soil mix you do, that it's an aeroid mix and it's very light and very airy. So a typical mixture of soil would be equal parts of orchid bark, potting soil, and perlite or pumice rock. So just go with that and see how it works for you. And the nice thing is, because I know it works this way, if you go the soil route and it's not working out for you and you see it kind of starting to struggle or starting to die, just take it out of the soil and put it in water like this, and you'll be fine. It'll come back, I promise. So that's as far as I know about soil needs. So for fertilizer, what I have been doing is I didn't fertilize it until it started growing new leaves. And so when I go around and fertilize all my plants with the all-purpose plant food, I just come and put a couple of tablespoons of the water that has the fertilizer in it into this. So I'll just go down to like right here with the plant food, and then I'll fill up the rest of it with water. And that's been doing well for this plant so far. For those of you who live in zone 9B through 11, this is something that you can grow outside. And it'll survive the winter, which I'm super jealous of. Obviously, this is not a plant that I can keep outside, but that's okay because I like the look of the juvenile form of a Monstera Dubia, so I'm not looking for it to like go crazy and like vine all over my house. I kind of like it just being small and nice and silvery and shiny. If you live in a zone below 9B, I would recommend, if you did want to take it out during the summertime, you can, but you would have to bring it back before those temperatures started dropping. Let's talk about the lighting requirements for this plant. So for me, I have been keeping it right now near a southern exposure windowsill. I don't keep it directly on the windowsill, but it's about like 1.5 2 feet away from the window, so it's not getting direct light, and it likes it. I feel that keeping it that close to the windowsill, it helps the silver parts develop, the silver variegation develop on the plant better, as opposed to when it's like, you know, somewhere in the center of my living room. It's not doing much, especially with the top ones. I noticed when they first started growing out, I had them in the central part of my living room, so it was getting like light from all around, but it wasn't doing much. But once I moved it closer to a brighter light source, it definitely started forming a more distinct silver variegation. And they're still babies, so they're not as well formed as these ones. But in general, you want to keep it in a location where there's bright filtered light. If I were you, I would play around with the lighting of your home and your apartment situation to see where it would thrive the best. Given the right conditions, this is an easy plant to grow. And this past February when I got it, it was around 55 degrees in my home to like 60 degrees. It prefers to be above 60 degrees, and it can handle a little bit of cool temperature, but it cannot handle frost or draft. So just be mindful of that during the winter months, that if you're going to have a hard frost, or if you're going to have those nights where it's dipping below 40s or 30s into the negatives, that you're taking the right precautions to make sure it stays warm enough to survive. So yeah, that's pretty much it for temperature. Okay, let's talk about propagation. I have not done this part because I'm too scared, and I'm just like, maybe I'll wait till it gets like double the length of the original plant, and then I will think about propagating it. And I have not heard of anyone around me propagating it. So if you have propagated one successfully, let us know in the comment below. But from my research, this is what I found. So you would propagate it by taking a cutting from a mature stem tip, and then you would place it in 1 to 2 inches of moist soil and water it, and then within like 2 to 3 weeks it should root. That's the propagation theory. Have I tried it? No. If you have, please let me know how it goes. Or has anybody ever tried to propagate it in water and has had success? Let me know. I don't know. So I would love to know if anybody's had any success. With that said, now we're going to get into the plant anatomy of this Monstera Dubia, and that should be really fun because I get to go in here and I'll be able to show you close up of this plant and show you how this plant is made and it thrives. And this was like a lot of cool information that I learned because I don't know a lot of plant terms, like botany terms, and like it forced me to go and learn about the different parts of the plants, what they're called, and it's just been a really nice learning process for me. So let's get right into the plant anatomy portion of this.
So now I'm going to show you a close-up look at my Monstera Dubia, and the leaves that you are seeing right now are the juvenile leaves. The leaves of juvenile plants have thick leather-like silvery top surface with contrasting green veins that run along the center of the leaf. The silver areas can become bold when grown in bright light and can generate a diverse range of leaf and growth forms that are in response to the type of tree species it climbs and the amount of light it's getting. Young plants start with 2 to 3 inch leaves. Like most vines in the aroid family, the leaves make a radical transformation when the plant grows taller and climbs into brighter light. Let's talk about the front-facing side of the plant, and then we will take a look at the back side of the plant. In juvenile form, the leaves tend to be tightly pressed to the host that is climbing. The lamina, which is the expanded portion or the blade of a juvenile leaf, is typically heart-shaped, and this part right here is known as the sinus, or the space or indentation between two lobes. And the apex, or the end tip of the plant, is often short, sharp, and variegated with silver flecks. Alrighty, let's take a look at the back anatomy of the dubia. The internodes, which is the portion of a stem between two nodes, are typically 3 to 10 centimeters long, 1 to 2 centimeters thick, and 1.5 to 3 centimeters wide. The petiole is typically warty and tuberculate. That just means there are small wart-like outgrowth at the base or along the length of a stem. There is a difference between the stem and the petiole of a plant that a lot of people don't know. The stem is the part of the plant that serves as the main source of support and produces nodes and roots, and the petiole is the stalk that supports the leaves in a plant and attaches it to the stem. Next we have the sheath, which is this part of the leaf that is attached to the petiole and then to the stem. Think of it like a protective sleeve around the petiole. And the last part we're going to look at is the geniculum, which is like a small knee or elbow or a joint in the stem, aiding leaves to change their angle and direction as it climbs higher in search of light. Since I don't have a mature Monstera Dubia plant, I'll insert photos of mature plants for this next section. A mature plant has different characteristics compared to a juvenile plant. The lamina still has a leathery texture, but the top of the leaves are going to be dull dark green in color with a paler underside. Even at the earliest stages of maturity, the leaves can still be a simple leaf without any division, but once the vine reaches about 6 feet tall, the leaves can grow much larger and will become pinnatifid or perforated. Mature foliage can grow 12 to 15 inches in diameter with the iconic split leaf appearance and fenestrations similar to a Monstera deliciosa. An adult stem will also be very different. It will be elliptic in cross sections with a rough, warty stem that is dark green to tan in color with a thick cuticle.
So that's it, you guys, for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about Monstera Dubia. If you know something that I haven't mentioned in this video, please do feel free to leave it in the comment section below so that we can all learn from each other. And like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to keep it in soil if you don't want to. This has been thriving in water for the last 4 months, and I plan on keeping it that way. And I would love to see how everybody grows their Monstera Dubia, so you can always post a photo on Instagram and tag me at Clay Soil Purny. Just know if I can take care of it, you can take care of it. And if all fails, keep it in water. You don't have to go the soil route if you don't want to. If you want to, go for it. It's by all means, go for it. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so that you're notified whenever I upload new content. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Clay Soil Purny. I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.